Good afternoon, everybody. How are you guys doing out there? Thank you very much for joining me. Sorry, apologies. Thank you very much for joining me on today's live stream. So I'm not feeling that well today, but I really wanted to get this out. I put a little preview in this morning. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I won't be stressing my voice too much. But thanks very much for dropping in. We're going to be taking a look. Quite a bit of action happened today. So we're going to be taking a look through. Can you guys hear me okay there? That's precious metals updates. Give me the thumbs up there to make sure you can hear me fine. Silver Junkie still says 1350 is coming. And Jody Rhodes as well. He says, super, thanks, Womble Stacker. Jody Rhodes says good evening as well. Guys, what a fantastic day it has been for precious metals and cryptocurrency. Obviously, I've been keeping an eye on cryptocurrency since yesterday. Obviously monitoring the actions and obviously seeing how sort of profit take a bit this morning. So it's been really, really good, and silver's been performing pretty well as well. I think essentially when I woke up, I was quite surprised to saw silver at 1653. So thanks, Silver Junkie. Stephen Heath, man, how you doing? Jody Rhodes, all the give me the thumbs up. That's fantastic, guys. Thank you. Sorry, I woke up this morning feeling absolutely dreadful. I still, this feels better actually, me talking to you guys. So just bear with me. But literally 10-15 minutes ago, I still didn't feel great. I think I ate something that didn't agree with my my body. So hopefully by tomorrow I should be up and running. Anyway, let's take a look, guys. We've got 10 in the chat. We've got Chefs here as well. Hey, Chef, how are you doing? It's good to see you. So, guys, cryptocurrency and precious metals. What a whopper of a day. We're going to talk about gold because that's what's in the headline. Gold is ramping up. I'm going to take a look at some technicals here. I mean, just look at that, guys. We were as low as when sort of Trump announced that. When the Fed announced that cut, we dropped all the way down to 1,400, and look where we've come back. We've come back an astonishing $64 since then. So what was that? The 2nd? It's the 1st of August that we came back. That was the announcement day over there, the 31st of July. On the 1st, we came back in 404. If anyone bought down here, did you guys buy any gold when it was super low? I've always said this. I've always had this philosophy of buying low and selling high. Let me know if you guys bought low. And of course, if I'm sure you guys will be holding on to it. There was a bit of a sell-off in that earlier on. It was a few hours back. Jody Rhodes says, best day I've ever seen. Yeah, it's pretty astonishing. Because essentially that 1450 was pretty stiff resistance for gold, and it just powered on through it. So we're going to take a closer look. So let's see what happened to gold today. Right, so let's talk. Obviously, that was Friday. This was Monday. Pow, we started off with immediate, we sort of just ran for the hills straight away. Market opened up. Let's put it on the daily. Here we go. The market opened up at 1440, and then it went as high as 1469. It was a whopper $29 up. It's currently 24.1. We've had a little bit of an adjustment pullback, but still ramping up. It's gold's six-year high, I believe. Quite substantial. Silver says, I remember days when gold went up $50 in a day, but I will take days like this. I totally agree with you there. Precious Metals Update says, I think Trump raised the tariffs to push the Fed into cutting rates further. There you go. Jody Rhodes, again, it's Trump's tweets. He's setting the economy globally and telling the Fed what to do. Let's see, he's given the Fed the marching orders there. Jody Rhodes says 1407. I got a couple of things. Good for you, man. Fantastic. My wife bought me some gold before the run. Obviously, that's gold sovereign you guys saw. So I'm pretty happy about that. I even said to her, I said, gold's going to be, you did me a favor buying that sovereign. because gold's going to be hitting higher highs, and we can pretty much see it there today. If this continues, we'll have some more rate cuts. Apparently, that's precious metals update. Whiskey night last night again, Limey. And I think I ate some dodgy food. Unfortunately, I didn't really drink any alcohol. In fact, I didn't drink any alcohol. Are you just fine, my friend? There we go. That's everybody. RPM Limited is here. Hey, RPM, how you doing? I just landed now, guys. Off back in time for a start now. Wishing you all the best, everyone. Thanks, RPM. It's good to see you, buddy. Johnny Rhodes again. It's Trump's tweets. Right, so let's take a look. It certainly looks like it's not done today by the looks of things. All right, so what are we going to do? Where are we seeing this moving to? Right, the first thing to do is to set the low trend line. So obviously we've got our low over here, and we've got our low over there. So immediately we've got a fantastic, awesome trending wedge. So trend line currently set, and then we've got our other high, which is over here. That was our last high over here. So it's gonna put ourselves into a interesting ascending wedge here, which means that we could see further breakouts. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Further breakout means obviously we're going to see more higher highs. We're currently touching that resistance level now, which is pretty much correlates with the previous high. So that is our ascending resistance line. So we've really got to get past this level here, this 1460, to see further gains up. Now let's take a look at where previous resistance was. Okay, we're gonna have to go back 5 years. I don't think it's really that irrelevant. I don't think it's that relevant nowadays. So we're gonna just play it by ear here and just work through resistance and support and see where we go. So hopefully we're gonna be bouncing around here and then pop back up again, and then we're gonna see ourselves above $1,500 gold. Absolutely. That is definitely coming. It's not an if, it's more of the when. So let's take a look through. So we're going to keep an eye on that now. There's the low point, and there's your high point. So what goes up tends to come down. So more than likely it goes up like that, a bit of a sell-off, sideways movements, and then it'll either touch or it'll keep in the middle, move up again. If you have a look, we've got a wick here, we've got a wick there, and of course we've got our wick here. So with consistently moving up those wicks, more than likely we're going to see another breakout in due course. So keep an eye on that. For sure, we're definitely going to be breaking that $1,500 mark soon enough. We've had pretty much, I wouldn't say significant selling, but we have had some selling in the previous couple of days. So let's go back onto the hour. Okay, there we go. We're hitting some selling right now. Okay, that was our ascending wedge that we put in on our lines. That could be brought down slightly just so it touches that level there. So let's go here and there. And there's our previous low. Damn. Okay, sorry guys, I'm gonna have to do this here. Oh, jeez. God, if it's not this, if it's not a fucking, sorry, apologies. If it's not a side, if it's not a signage or something like that, I just want to get this thing on here. There we go. Right, there we go. Oh, sorry. Okay, that's. There we go. Right, so there's our wedge. So more than likely, we are going to see further movement upwards by the looks of it. We'll have to wait and see, but there was significant selling off. It brought down the price there down to, where were we? Went down as low as, was that 1550? Sorry, 1452. So I think we should be okay. We should see more high highs anyway. we'll have to just currently keep an eye on it. Jody Rhodes says, what happens if the Fed cuts again in a month or so? I think they only meet, was it, they meet every 3 months or something like that, as far as I know. I don't know. I'd have to find out. If they cut again, then obviously it's just going to favor precious metals again. We're going to keep an eye on that. Okay, so there's that. We got gold pretty much panned out. Let's have a look at silver currently. How are you guys? What's your feeling on silver currently? That's silver on the daily, still looking very good. We still have this. We've got our ascending wedge line here. We're up on the higher end of the scale as well, so we're not sitting in the middle or the lower end. This is our support line, which is pretty much in place from the 29th of May, so a pretty strong support line across the bottom here. There's our resistance line. Our previous high was here. That was the 7th of June. Followed by that one there. It's all touching. It's touching that one too. So there's our ascending resistance line. You've pretty much got to start seeing some upward movement action. We're going to break this resistance as well. 1657. I said it previously in previous videos. We've pretty much got to clear this mess in order to start moving up and hopefully start tackling the 1695 $17 level. So I think that is definitely coming up. The next Fed meeting will be in September. There you go. That's precious metals update. Jody Rhodes says silver's still dirt cheap. I absolutely agree with you. I mean, I know I was on Sal's live stream yesterday, and he was saying that he wants to see prices pull back some more. The problem with lower silver prices, and this is, is that it invites a lot more volatility in the market. We need a higher price for silver to reduce the volatility. So the prices now are still very cheap. I wouldn't say cheap, but they're still very affordable for everybody. But if everyone's going to sit and wait for lower silver prices, you may not see them. So you've got to try and get in the game somewhere. But where do you get in? Personally, look for those lower lows. It would have been a great opportunity to get into silver there at 15.91. That would have netted you immediately a 50-cent gain. Just if you'd started, if you'd bought in on, if you'd just taken that dip, even if where we started here, we had $15 silver, buying at $15, I think is the real number. Jody Rhodes says if gold hits $1,500, silver must be worth at least 50. Well, the problem there, Jody, is 1,500 is just around the corner. Silver's nowhere near 50 currently, so it's more than likely probably going to be knocking on the door there of 17, I'd say at least. We'll have to wait and see, but we really need more silver buying currently at the minute. That sort of silver sell-off that we had earlier on, a couple of hours back, didn't help. That was us all the way down here. Sorry, that's on the platinum one. That was us. Okay, that's on the daily. Let's go back into the hourly. We're still looking in. We're still in. Look, guys, don't get me wrong. Silver, we're still looking extremely positive. There's really no two ways about it. We're in a lovely ascending wedge here. We're still sort of tracing very well. We do need some sell-offs in order to get those buys to push for those higher highs. So again, we're still in a very attractive range currently at the minute. But I want to see some more upward momentum really to start tackling these higher highs here, because otherwise we're just going to be, if we don't break through this level, then we're just going to be heading down. So ideally we need at least another go up here. More than likely we'll probably see ourselves come back down. Probably look for support. So there's our ascending support line. What's that? 1640. Look, ideally, because if we can't move up higher, then we're going to be headed lower. So at about 1630. So ideally, we would need to really start pushing up, and then slowly sort of come down from and therefore set a higher low. Jody Rhodes says, if ratio hits 90%, I'll buy more silver for gold. There you go. Will Stalker, man, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Let's take a look at platinum, everybody. Platinum, how is platinum looking? Well, I tell you what, platinum isn't looking too badly. Currently up $14. That is in the last hour. So again, we've got a little green. We've had some selling off as well, but I think that looks pretty like majority of all those that had precious metals sold off within that range. Same for silver, same for gold, same for platinum. Platinum we're still looking good, although we've fallen back down into the, but we're still in an ascending wedge line in between this line. So there is our resistance level and there's our support. So again, we're still tracking fairly well. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough momentum to get ourselves out. And of course, we had the Fed announcement on the 31st, and that just really pushed us all the way back down to these levels here. The low there, what's that, $840? I think I said that in the previous video. That's pretty much where I see it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But more than likely, platinum has got momentum to get through. We still need to get through our moving averages here. So in order for us to have another go at this, we've got to really get up to the 865 mark. And then hopefully push on through, get ourselves back up above these levels. Because if gold can do it, platinum and silver can do it. Let's take a look at Palladium. Will Stork says, I had to do a double take this morning when Bitcoin was up $1,000. I know, yeah, it still is up $1,000 there. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm going to check the Bitcoin charts shortly. RPM Limited says 2 barriers left till silver shoots for the moon. Exactly. I couldn't agree more with you. But I mean, in general, so long as we maintain ourselves in this wedge here, we are going to get to higher highs. The moment if we start breaking down again, that's when when it becomes a bit of an issue. Take note here. I've got a much deeper ascending wedge line which I've created, which was all the way back here. This was that the that was the 1st of August line, and then I've also got another one here ascending, which is pretty much following this pattern here. So that's the deeper wedge, but I've still set an ascending trend line here. So we'll have to see how we get on. If we break on through, then we're breaking into the wider wedge here. Okay, let's get into some articles while we have it. So gold prices power to 6-year high. Markets on edge. This is by Jim Wyckoff at Kitco News. Okay, so gold prices are sharply up and hits a 6-year high in early US trading on Monday. Safe haven demand is featured amid an escalating US-China trade war and unrest in Hong Kong. December gold futures were last up $15.20 an ounce to $14.72. In September, COMEX silver prices were last up 21.5 cents at $16.48 an ounce. Asia and European stock markets tumbled overnight amid heightened worries about the escalating trade war between the world's 2 largest economies, the US and China. US stocks are set to open solidly lower when the New York session begins. China's currency, the yuan, depreciated to a new record low against the US dollar Monday at 7.10 to the dollar. This is leading to ideas China has thrown in the towel on a trade agreement with the US coming anytime soon. China's central bank appears to condone the decline in its currency, saying the yuan's fall is a result of US protectionism and that the yuan remains stable. In the past, China's central banks have stepped in to boost the yuan when it reached 7 to the dollar. President Donald Trump announced late last week that September 1st, he will slap another 10% tariff on Chinese imports into the US. On Monday morning, tweeted that China is manipulating its currency and that the US Federal Reserve had better take note of it. The US stock market has dropped. US Treasury futures prices are hitting to new contract highs. The yield on the 10-year US Treasury note has dropped well below the 2% mark. The US dollar has dropped, and grains and crude oil prices have also fallen. The escalation of the US-China trade war has other implications too, including significantly increasing the likelihood the Federal Reserve will again lower US interest rates in the coming months. Well, there we go. I suppose that's what the big question was when we had our last announcement. Was there going to be any more? Well, could well be. The major protest action in the streets of Hong Kong also has the world marketplace uneasy to start the trading week. The key outside the markets today, see the NYMEX crude oil prices weaker and trading above the $55 a barrel, and the US dollar index is also weaker. US economic data for release on Monday includes the US PMI, non-manufacturing reports on business and globally, and the employment trends index. I'm not going to go into technical analysis because we're going to look at it, but let's just see what they think. Right, solid technical support at 1425. The first resistance was seen today at 1473 and then at 1480. The first support is seen at 1467 and then at 1454. Okay, so they're saying they'll probably breach, when we breach the 1480 level, it'll probably get on to 1500. September silver future bulls have solid overall near-term technical advantage. Silver bulls next upside price breakout objective is closing prices above the solid technical resistance at 1668, which I pointed out a moment ago. The next downside price breakout objective for the bears is closing prices below solid support on the week's low at 1593. I think I've always said that $16 level is pretty strong. I mean, yes, we touched 1593, but immediately we'll pull back up. First resistance is seen as today's high at 1659 and then at 1668. Next support is seen at 1625 and the overnight low of 1613. All right, so gold on a 6-year high. Everyone claims, let's have a look. Sorry, just checking the chat here. So if gold hits 1500, silver must be at least worth 50. Two barriers left, of course, like what, RPM? That's a question there from Will Stalker. Then we've got Jody Rhodes. I think TA doesn't take the political advantage we're facing everywhere. Yeah, that's also, well, that is very true, Jody. A technical analysis. Will Stalker says everyone claims something is about to shoot the moon and then they barely make it over the fence. Reminds me of something. Will Stalker, XRP. Jody Rhodes, there's problems everywhere. Not one country is flying. RPM says, I forgot the total amounts of the last two peaks on the chart of breakthrough. Sorry, I'll try and find it. Silver Lime, did you see the USD debt clock by any chance? I haven't seen it, no. RPM, you'd have to just enlighten us in the chat. Sorry, I'm 4 minutes behind. All Jody Rhodes says, Wall Street has tanked almost 2,000 down from last week. Jeepers. Okay. Will Stalker says, Nights Lemonade, too late here. Cheers, buddy. Thanks, Will Stalker. I know you're ahead on the time here, so it's probably, what, 2 o'clock there? Something like that. Take it easy, buddy. So I'm going to have a look at Palladium. Palladium is currently priced at 1422. It's on its way back up after dropping, after breaking its support level of 1400. It's a previous low of 1377. However, it's back up to 1422. It did hit highs of 1452 before it corrected downwards, and we're currently trading at 1422. We're currently on the 200. The 50 moving average, which is acting like resistance currently at the minute. So we've tried to get through it, pull back down, and we're currently in between the 20-day moving average and the 50-day moving average. That's where we're going to be trading at until we pop through. So again, we're going to have to take a note and see exactly where we are going to see some form of breakout for Palladium. Okay, so Palladium, it's definitely in the near term in regards to where this breakout is, or breakdown, or more than likely a breakout. So there it is. We'll pretty much know by tomorrow, or the day after next, at the latest, if it's going to be breaking up. Right, so let's just check on silver. So 1643 currently for silver. Gold is currently at 1464. There we go. It's going to get very tight in that range. 1464. Right, the next article we're going to be taking a look at today is why precious metals could be the investment of choice very soon. The best days for gold and silver are yet to come as global monetary policy reaches the limits of its effectiveness. I'm sure everybody agrees on that. Let's have a look. S&P, how you doing, buddy? We got blended whiskey here. Ayuka Current says, hello, everyone. I've been trying to sell silver all week to buy gold. Hard going. Yeah, it's you got to try and wait for those higher prices there. Ayuka Currents. Hopefully, World Stalker, that wasn't a bad guess. 230 almost. Have you bought any other graded coins, my friend? S&P says, loving the precious metals increase lately. Hello, my fellow stackers. Gold is up 16% this year, and that's massive. Let's take a look. Right, precious metals investors have enjoyed some spectacular returns over the past 2 months. Gold futures for December delivery surged to 1470 an ounce this week, the highest closing price since May 2013. But the best days for gold are probably still to come. The 25 basis point interest rate cut by the Federal Reserve last Wednesday was the first cut in more than a decade and has a special significance for the investors in precious metals. The next day, gold surged above 1450. It's funny how they leave for that. We took a serious tank the day before, but they left that out. The next day, gold surged to 1450 an ounce when Donald Trump said he would impose an extra 10% tariff on a $300 billion worth of Chinese imports on September 1st due to failed trade talks. When US interest rates start to decline, so does the opportunity cost of holding gold. That is to say, the money you could have earned on the deposit versus zero interest on gold. This tends to leverage the gold price upwards. Failing US interest rates usually follow rather than seek to ward off stock market declines. So this time it's been somewhat different, with US stock indices still posting all-time highs. However, this proactive response to a weakening US and global economy might only cheer share owners for the brief period. It is unlikely to fool them for very long with the trade war worsening. Interest rates are coming down to offset the impact of aggressive tariffs and falling private, domestic, and business investment. Funny, just talking about that, when to offset the impact of aggressive tariffs, I wonder if this has been Trump's plan all along, because if you think about it, he was already pressuring the Fed many months back to say, look, it's, you've got to start looking at lowering rates. And they're saying there's really no need. But then, of course, it's funny how they've added that little piece in there where they says interest rates are coming down to offset the impact of aggressive tariffs. So I wonder if that's been Trump's game all along. What does this mean for future profit outlook for U.S. economies and therefore share prices, let alone domestic inflation? In the immediate aftermath of the Great Recession of 2008-2009, the best performing asset to own was silver and gold in that order. Silver prices whizzed from $850 an ounce to $49 an ounce, and gold from $900 to $1,923 an ounce. Shares in gold, silver, and producers grew by far larger percentages due to the leveraging effect of fixed costs. What do you guys think of that? Sorry, I'm going to just make a note here because I just want to check the chat here. So we've got an extra couple of people in. We've got Donald from New Mexico. Donald, how are you doing? It's good to see you. S&P says, who wants to bet all Trump's products made in China are not being tariffed? Gold will hit 2,000 by the end of the year, according to S&P. That is a big prediction to make there, my friend. Blended Whiskey says, I sold my kidney now. I have enough gold to buy. Anyone have so much silver that they have a hard time keeping their pants up? S&P's just saying hello there to Donald. Blended Whiskey says he's a real estate developer, so yes, he wants interest rates lower. Well, there you go as well. So it's a bit of a double whammy for him. Bigfoot's silver hide and seeker, man. How are you doing? Doing good, Limey. Thanks. That's Donald from New Mexico. Oh, in New Mexico. Sorry, apologies. Right. What goes around comes around. Precious metals investors have had to wait patiently out a 6-year bottoming. That's how long we've been in this market, everybody. Even when I was talking about silver when we start to see silver coming back and putting pressure on gold. We've been in a very strong, I think, 18-month bear market, essentially, just to take just to work the last 18 months up. Let's not have to go back 6 years, but to wait that length of time, it's about time we had higher prices for silver. End of story. As much as anybody wants lower prices for silver, man, guys, you've had 6 years of low prices. So it's time that precious metals went up in price. Really is. This long hiatus has frozen capital investments in new mines, choking future supply that will help turbocharge the price recovery. At first, silver prices lagged the gold price advance, and that worried observers who had written about too many fake breakouts in recent years. But in mid-July, silver played catch-up with gold and then some, with $16.50 an ounce by the end of the month. That said, the silver price is most likely just at the start of a series bounce that will leave gold behind in terms of percentage rises. Again, I've always said that the percentage rises are extremely important to note. As much as there are people out there that don't like silver, it's the percentages that matter the most, not the silver to dollar ratio. There are past precedents for such optimism. In July 2016, gold jumped to $13.77, lower than today, and yet the price of silver was much higher at $21 an ounce. So that's an interesting way to put it. Silver back then was $21 an ounce in 2016, when gold was only $13.77. Indeed, silver is still 30% lower than its high 3 years ago, while gold is a few percent above the level. So silver has much further to go. Historically, the ratio of the gold price to silver price being much lower than it is now at around 85, with the long-term averaging being 55. Man, that'll be good. 55 ounces of silver for an ounce of gold. Man, I tell you guys, I will be celebrating. S&P says 2,000 gold coming. I think silver will end the year at 21. Good man. I like that. Bigfoot's silver hide and seeker says bad Stallman connection for me. I'm sorry to hear it. Anyone ever buying a pregnancy test from a dollar store for some reason they don't work right and always say I'm pregnant? I bet you we're looking at a plus 2,000 within 18 months. That's pretty realistic, I think, Jody. We just need some drama to actually happen. And I've always said this, that the precious metals market plays into what is happening out there in the world from a developments and speculative news area. That's what keeps this market going in the way it is. I think time to stack cans of tuna. Apparently that's S&P. Jody Rhodes says, how much does it cost to mine silver? That is a very good question. I haven't looked at the costs, but they tend to be, I think they're $5. Is it $5? I don't know, $7 or something like that, is it? Or $8 to cost to mine? I'm sure somebody knows in the chat there. Not that gold prices are about to stand still. Investors are just waking up to the potential of another gold bull market, with many remaining convinced by a gold price breakout. There has already been some outstandingly good investments. Readers who picked up the SILJ Junior Silver and Gold Miners ETF 2 months ago after a tip in this column have been awarded with a 50% return. Wow, geez, that's pretty good in gold mining stocks. And the best performance of a non-financially leveraged precious metals ETF. JDXJ, I've heard of them. Junior Gold Miners ETF is around 38% over the same period. It could be that silver now has an edge on gold through the shiniest of the metals is notoriously volatile and its chart's impossible to analyze. Keeping a precious metal portfolio is balanced between gold and silver assets is one way to sleep better at night. And again, I've said this, try and keep your as much as you want to have a strong amount of silver, try and keep it a bit more diversified a bit. It just reduces the amount of risk. And I mean, I look at myself. Many months ago, I had everything in silver. Now I've got gold, and now I've also got cryptocurrency. So I like to, I've seen the I've looked at it that way, and I want to try and keep as many options open as possible. Remember too that silver may peak long before gold. It was almost 6 months in 2011. On the other hand, we will probably a long way from such days. If the example of a decade ago holds true, a double top for gold at 1923 is one possible scenario, or the 1980 style spike with a quadrupling of prices. The impact on silver could be a Bitcoin style price explosion. August could be a quieter month, but the real fun is just around the corner as monetary policy is close to reaching its limits in terms of sustaining stock bonds and real estate markets. Then precious metals will be the only game in town. Don't you just love that? August could be a quiet month, but real fun is just around the corner as monetary policy is close to reaching its limits in terms of sustaining stock, bond, and real estate markets. Then precious metals will be the only game in town. And I look forward to that. S&P says silver. Okay, guys, I've got to go. Got to go play with my junk. Cheers, S&P. Thanks for dropping in, buddy. Donald says play safe. I think we'll start all stacking Band-Aids and anti-diarrhea meds. It's $7 an ounce. That's S&P says. How much does it cost? There you go. So it's $7 an ounce, apparently. That's according to S&P. Right. Okay. So just a quick update. Gold, $1,465 an ounce. Silver, 1,600. Sorry, 1,600. Imagine that, 1,600. Sorry, apologies. $16.42 an ounce. We've got platinum at 856. For some reason, my laptop's really slow today, guys. That's really irritating me. So I'm not sure what the story is here. Something might be running in the background. And then we got palladium at $1,422 an ounce. Right, is pretty much the precious metals. We're going to move into cryptocurrency, and I've got 3 we're going to be taking a look at. And then there's 2 articles as well we're also going to be taking a look at, or rather 4, sorry. It's been an interesting day, pretty much, which I'm quite happy to see. Ethereum has finally started to move up. We've got Litecoin has started to move up, and the halving event was today. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the term halving, they basically reduce the supply by 50%, and also the cost of the rewards to miners has dropped by 50%. So Litecoin had its halving today, which basically meant that the supply is cut in half. So we're going to be taking a look at that. It had a bit of a pump. I managed to cash out and cash some profits. Essentially, there was absolutely nothing going on with Litecoin up until this morning. So let's just take a quick look at Litecoin. This is the Litecoin candle now. Essentially, this is where it all started. We had this pump here, and then it just kept on going. It did take a while, though. I think we had about half an hour left before the halving events actually occurred. Jody says your laptop's caught your virus. So we pushed up as high as 106. So I didn't cash out immediately there. I waited till we were about halfway down. I was like, there's nothing else happening here. I'll drop some Litecoin. And then I bought back in down here, which was that 90? It was about 98. So I did take some profits. Wasn't much. It was about $7. It's about $7 a Litecoin. I had dropped 10, so I made about $70 just in that move, minus fees. So I did, I made for 50, 60 euros. Bought back in. So 50, 60 euros is a meal out. That's the way I'd put it. All right, that's Litecoin. Litecoin's currently it's back under 100. Unfortunately, it looked like we were going to maintain that 100 back up here. It's for me, it's like a sort of a psychological level, but it is very stiff resistance. Look at that, guys. So that is the next one to keep an eye on. Hopefully, once things stabilize over the next couple of days, we should start seeing upward momentum for Litecoin. At least that's my indication. It has got quite a wide ascending wedge as well, so it's in the middle, so it can go either way. Hopefully it won't be going any further down, and there's our support trend line is over here.
Are you housemaking?
Sorry, I'm just on.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. Hey guys. That was one of the helpers here saying hello. Yeah, I'm sure you guys are right wondering what that was. I was like, oh, don't come in here. Oh dear. Anyway, guys, what can you do? What can you do with live when you're going live? Let's check this out. Okay, so we're on 98. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin. That is the big mover on the day. So, guys, it looks like we might be turning a curve here, which is why I'm ready, super ready to drop my bags as soon as I see it. There's a major resistance line over here for those that have Bitcoin, which is my that is it there. So that is the ascending line. We're going to go and see the bigger picture of it. Bitcoin's looking fabulous. The thing is, I'm still not convinced in regards to the volume in the market. There still isn't enough major volume. Oh, we actually broke above that. No, we haven't. Sorry. There we go. So we're nearing this major resistance line, and that was it back here all the way down. So it's touched over there. So we've got, if it can break through here, what's up? But I suspect there's probably going to be some form of drop in the market. Bigfoot Silver Hide and Seeker says, I think I'm going to start hoarding crayons after school starts. They make great candles, and there are a lot of broken ones that need a drop off points and charity. Jody Rhodes, in concurrence says Jody Rhodes and crashing against the euro. Also, your laptop. Yeah, so there's our deep descending line. I put a wedge in here, or triangle, if you can call it that. This goes all the way back, and all the way back here. And as you can see, we are still above our 20-day moving average. One thing to note about this 20-day moving average, guys, is when we are above the 20 moving average, what does it look like to you? It looks like we're in a bull market in relation to it, because we're always above it, with the exception of this sad day all the way back down here when I think we were pretty much in this sort of bear trend since the 12th of July. And then we're still only starting to come back out of it now, so we're back above that average. However, it is going to come exceptionally close to that critical resistance level. Went up as high as 11,950. I would say be as cautious as you can. Should anything drop, because technically all it needs is a whale to come in here. The whale's going to drop, will literally drop their bags on your head straight away. I'm not messing. Hope so. All in precious metals. That's Jody. I believe if we continue to see carnage in the markets, we will see the likes of the Fed, the president, or one of his goons like Steve Mnuchin and Larry Kudlow come out and try to calm the markets. Yeah, that is more than likely. Okay, let's get back into the hourly here. Okay, so that is our next zone. So we're still looking pretty good in order to break out of that zone. So, you know, we still have got a lot of potential, but I'm more interested to see at the, let's say, a 12,250 mark, the 12.2. If we break that, if there's going to be some kind of recourse, and we're going to see some kind of adjustments in the market. Silver Streak. Hey man, how you doing, Silver Streak? Hey, Silver Limey 79 and everyone. Gonna be doing chores, but I'm listening. Thanks for that, man. Hey, Silver Limey, tell Mrs. Limey hello for us. Now, that wasn't my wife, actually. That was one of the farm workers, actually. She was really loud. I was like, that was hilarious, man. I certainly wasn't expecting that. As soon as I heard it start talking, I was like, no, and I sat to like wave at it, go, see it, move on. Oh well, then forget the farm work. Precious metals update. Yeah, so we're in a extremely heavy resistance zone currently at the minute, as we can see there. But I mean, if you look at where we've come from all the way back down here, I think we've done fairly well. So just keep your options open. If you see the market turn, more than likely the whales are going to drop their bags straight away. And I'm telling you, these whales have got loads. Right, okay, so let's get into the first one. Right, Bitcoin price. BTC FOMO could surge 12 to 12,400 this week. I'm sure the whales would be over the moon. In my previous analysis, we looked at the strength of new Bitcoin uptrends as price levels traded just below the 11K resistance. Since then, bulls have been well in control, resulting in forward upside towards 12,000. On the 1 hour chart, which we've obviously had a look at there, it's stemming from 11.5 throughout the middle of July to a new range of 9.1. The bulls have since regained control and managed to win a compelling breakout to the upside. The result is the price level returning back to where the period of consolidation began at 11.5. The point of control has begun with a breakout to the upside, meaning that there's a lot of buying pressure taking place throughout the uptrend. It's interesting how we started this cycle here with little to no volume. If you guys have been watching the volume, we had super low volume here when we were pushing up and consolidating and then pushing up. We still had relatively low volume coming into the market, which again sort of had me going that there's just some whales that are just there just to stimulate the market, get the market going. And then what they do is they get everyone bringing in liquidity. Then as the price starts to moving up higher, they all of a sudden jump in on the train, and then bang, they drop their bags, and that is the end of that. We're going to just take a quick look here at CoinMarketCap. I just want to see there we go. So volume's up fairly higher now. Essentially, when we first started to see those ups, the CoinMarketCap was early 40s, 43 or something like that. So we've come a long way. Bitcoin dominant still holding high at 67.8. So 8% up Bitcoin. We got 5.8% up for Ethereum, which I'm happy about. XRP as well has finally started to move up there, 1.47%. Bitcoin Cash, I don't hold that, but it's up 4.38. Litecoin is up 5.90, so it was trading at about 93 before we had that nice pump. Okay, this is going to go into analysis here, so we're going to move into that next article then. Right, here it is. It says, Circle CEO, microeconomic turmoil responsible for Bitcoin's growth. Adrian Zamudzinski. That's by Cointelegraph. The CEO of crypto payments for Circle, Jeremy Allaire, suggested that microeconomic turmoil is responsible for Bitcoin's recent growth. During the interview with CNBC on August 5th, Allaire suggested that Bitcoin had become a safe haven used to store wealth in times of geopolitical and microeconomic turmoil. Allaire stated that there is a correlation between the recent coin's gains and the devaluation of the Chinese yuan, and just touched its 11-year low. You can very clearly see some macro correlation there. I think the broader theme of Bitcoin specifically, crypto more broadly participating in the global macro forces, is becoming more and more clear. Rising nationalism, rising amounts of currency, conflict, trade wars, these are all obviously all supportive of non-sovereign, highly secure digital store of value. And then it goes into China softening its stance on crypto. Let's have a look. Donald says support the farm worker or the farmers. Bigfoot silver hide and seek is a silver lining. You mean there are no cookies in the oven? Jody Rhodes says Bitcoin is just a joke ATM. How can one whale change the market on one trade? You would be absolutely surprised, my friend. When we came off our high there of 14,000, what happened? The whales came in and dumped the load. And what happened? What happened to Bitcoin when we suffered? It basically caused a lot of mayhem. And they're loving it because there was one, I think it was 25,000 Bitcoins that got dropped, or 32,000 Bitcoins, something like that, at this highest part of the market. We came all the way down here. Once that happens, then everyone else starts selling, and you get this so on and so on market. Went down all the way down. Back to 9 grand. And that's what we finally come out of. If you want to see some interesting values, go and check Whale Alert, Jody. Type in Whale Alert into Google, and it'll come up with Twitter. And these guys, they keep track of all the massive volumes going through in one transaction. And it's amazing the amount of volume going through cryptocurrency, various others, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or EOS, Tether, the lot. That's Andre G says, hello, everyone. How are you doing there, Andre? Thanks so much for dropping in. It's good to see you, buddy. Precious Metals Update says, I believe if we continue to see carnage in the markets, we will see the likes of the Fed presence or their goons like Steve Mnuchin and Larry Kudlow come out and try to calm the markets. More than likely, they always tend to. I know you put that comment in there a moment ago. So, China softening its stance on crypto. The interviewer says also asked Alea whether he believes the growth the growth was caused by the inflow of Chinese capital, or just investors trying to capitalize on an anticipation of this inflow. Given that Bitcoin is not easily purchasable in China, Leah answered that China is a significant participant in the cryptocurrency market through offshore firms, and that government is suffering its stance towards Bitcoin. Did you see Iran wants to? They're putting through legislation in regards to crypto farms and all that kind of stuff, because then Iran's moving ahead with their crypto approved cryptocurrency. I thought that was very interesting. Health Babe, how are you doing? Hey, Health Babe, good to see you. The Circle CEO cited how in July the Bank of China, one of the 4 biggest state-owned commercial banks in the country, released an infographic on its website illustrating what Bitcoin is and how it has been legally recognized as property in the country's courts. Yeah, that was passed through. I did see that where the Chinese court recognized Bitcoin as property to get around the state's limitations on Bitcoin or something like that, or regulation. So they declared it property. Lastly, Elaine noted that the major cryptocurrency exchange, Huobi, has created a Communist Party branch as part of its legal obligations, signaling that it's developing closer ties with the Chinese state. Under Chinese law, any company with more than 3 Communist Party employees must set up its own branch. That's hilarious. It's like the commissars or something back in Union. As Cointelegraph reported in April, Allaire stated that crypto and the blockchain industry is a fundamental redesign of the basics of how civic society will ultimately function. At a panel dubbed Money and Payments in the Digital Age, Allaire said that blockchain and crypto are more than just payment instruments, but also fundamental new system for record keeping. Right, so let's take a look at Bitcoin again. So we are in the green. 1100, 11,825. Jeepers, sorry guys. Oh, my brain is today. And that's our resistance, initial resistance at this level. Wow, look how slow that is. Good Lord, sorry guys. Ethereum is at 233. Let's go into Ethereum there. Ethereum's had a really nice run too, and it certainly does look, it's definitely on a upward trend, and it's above its 20-day moving average, so hopefully we'll be out of the doldrums here. It hasn't been trading too badly actually since the 1st of August. As you can see here, we've sort of been up below our moving averages, above the moving average, then below our moving averages, then popped out literally on the 4th of August. We're now up ahead of our 20-day moving average. Let's look at Litecoin again. So Litecoin, $98.42. Again, we're seeing red. We just need to get back to a level of support or consolidate. Hopefully higher lows would be ideal. Enough to start bouncing off and creating some support instead of heading lower to a lower support level of around, was that $95? We're still above our 20-day moving average, which is good. So hopefully this will act like support. At the moment, it's definitely hasn't been called into question yet. Where you can see these wicks haven't even touched it yet, so not looking too bad. XRP, let's have a look. Health Babe says gold really starts its bull run since it breached 1450. I know it's looking, man, it's insane. We're going to take another look at gold in a sec. Bigfoot, Silverhide, and Seeker says crypto is like watching PokerStars tournaments. Everyone not playing the game can see all the cards, but if you're playing, just remember, one swing can wipe you out. Absolutely, it's a highly volatile market, and I say this to everybody. You know, do your own research, know what you're getting into, because literally you can, crypto can really take the shirt off you. So just be careful out there. That's interesting. I could look at charts all the time. My wife says, my wife's like, so you're looking at charts again? I was like, yep, I'm looking at charts again. And literally have my phone there, I have the charts up, I'll be distracted, maybe go on YouTube, and I'll keep my charts on my laptop, straight back to my phone, do a bit of social media, then back on the charts. I keep an eye on stuff, especially when you're invested in it. When you're on the outside and you haven't invested in it, or you're waiting for a good time to get in, it's different because you can just get on with life. But once you're actually in, man, I tell you what, it takes up a lot of your time. Let's have a look. While gold is like a wild ride, silver is still weak. I know, I totally agree with you there, Health Babe. Funny enough, I was just saying there earlier, it's got to start moving up and start making higher highs, because currently it's just seemed to be in the middle there, kind of, bit up to bit down, more up then less down, or more down and a little bit up. It doesn't seem to be moving like gold is currently. So it's definitely something to watch. Bigfoot Hide and Seeker says, thumbs up, Health Babe. Good question, Health Babe. Chris Mills update. Yep, it does not look good since silver fails to break 1650. Well, it broke the 1650 yet again, but then the flipping sellers, the bears, came in and they dropped their bags straight away. We're going to have a look at the charts, actually. Let's have a look at silver right now. Man, I think we were up to 1659 when I woke up this morning, and I saw, wow, geez, okay, we're actually not looking too bad. Actually, we were over the 1650 level, and then there we go. That's when we had 1653, and literally they flipping came in, dropped us all the way back down to 1624. The bulls then came back in, pushed the price back up, and it's the reason why we're up at this level. So more than likely, we might see that movement again. We might see more red, then more bulls coming up, and that looks like probably the way that we're going to be moving up. Can considering we've had quite a good run so far. I just hope there's going to be, at some point someone's going to come in and take charge, whether that's a flipping whale or something like that. But literally, one of the guys is going to come in and start directly moving this market in the right direction. You know what? I can unload them anytime I want, since my gold position has already made up my loss. There you go, Health Babe. That's great. Health Babe has made up her losses with the amount of money that she's made in gold, and that's why another good reason to diversify your portfolio. Because if you have all your money in silver, you're going to be waiting a long time to actually see yourself in the green, mainly because of the premiums that we pay. However, if you've got a bit of gold or platinum, something like that, on the side, then effectively your gains in platinum or gold can effectively make up for those losses you make on silver. Health Babe says, are you guys still buying gold, silver, or others? I haven't bought anything right now, actually. Health Babe, I'm quite happy to see this run. See this run up higher. Just a quick question here, guys. When you look at these charts here, right? Effectively, when you start to see these candles start moving up, right? This is the way I like to play it. Once this candle's moving up, right? Don't chase it. Do not chase the candle, because what's happened is more than likely it's going to come down. Yes, it might take a few hours of if you patience is a virtue. In this game, it pays off very nicely, because what goes up must come down in most cases. So if you were thinking, damn, I've missed the opportunity here to get in, and you're thinking right at the top here, you're thinking, you know what, I'm going to buy some silver. I'm going to buy 100 ounces of silver. What happens? You're right at the top here, so you've got more risk of seeing a dump because you came in at the top instead of you coming in down here. So for instance, if you were up here straight away, what's going to happen? You're going to see a pretty massive loss on 100 ounces. I'm just using 100 ounces as a. However, if you bought down low, then at least what you're doing is you're reducing the loss that you've made. And I say this again: you buy low and you sell high. Or you can, for those that just want to keep their stack, then there's no point buying high. There's always good points to buy low. Health Babe says, I stopped buying any, not even collectible. It says Health Babe. I think you bought some constitutional, didn't you? Health Babe says, good points. I personally never chase any hype, just like gold hype right now. You see gold again. Now you got to wait for the pullback to get back in. If anyone wants to get back in, don't get too overexcited. One thing in this game, do not get emotional. Do not get emotional when it comes to this stuff. Yes, it's always great to be excited, but the moment you bring emotion into it, then your common sense just goes out the window, and then you're like, yeah, you know what? I'll just buy. All you're doing is, when you're buying high, you're doing the guys who are dropping their bags. You're doing them a favor, because you're putting in liquidity into the market for them to go, you know what? There's enough liquidity there. I want to drop my 1,000 ounces of gold. Bam, and this is what happens here. Now, obviously, you're left short here now, because you're like, damn, now I've got to sit and wait. And then who knows? Maybe there's another candle here, and someone goes, you know what? Who bought at, let's say, $1,200. Now he's saying, well, okay, maybe there could be a correction here. Then he goes and drops some more. Not that would have happened, because we're looking at this chart here. But always try and buy low. Let's have a look. Health Babe says, I had positioned myself in the past 4 years. We need to be ahead of the mainstream. There you go. Precious Metals Update says, I've pretty much stopped buying, Health Babe, although I did buy a little back when gold was 14.10, and just like silver, because I meet International Stacker at the coin show and I got a good deal. That's pretty cool. If you bought a 14.10, I think that's a winner, really, in my books. We're going to take a look at the gold chart. I think you bought a 14.10. I think the bottom was 1400. I think you did fairly well there. Precious Metals Update. Health Babe says one lonely Canadian $half melt. You're still bored. I was only winding you up. Sucker for Silver says, but I am a collector as well, SL. So I am always looking to add something to the stack. Yeah, sure. I mean, absolutely. I mean, but what you can do is you can benefit by buying low. So even though you're a collector, you might still gain that 20 cents, or yeah, it doesn't sound like much. You might gain that 20 cents, but then it adds up. If you think the Sucker for Silver, by the time you've added 100 coins, right, and if you've bought them consistently at lower prices, effectively you're able to buy more coins with those just by doing those steps, by buying low consistently, or just buying whenever there's a dip. You will automatically increase your holdings by doing that, if that makes sense. Health Babe says, Precious Metals update. Very well. I stopped buying bullion since it passed 13.25. There you go. Health Babe's in the money. Since then, I only bought pre-33 gold right now. That was that MS64 you had, eh? Wink, wink. In case you didn't know, Health Babe had a $20 double eagle gold coin. I believe it was PCGS, I think it was. And she was saying they guess the grade, but a beautiful $20 double eagle, very nice. Come on, I just wanted to rescue the lonely coin. Sucker for Silver says always looking to snipe something for a deal on eBay. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm like that myself currently. I've got like watches and a whole bunch of stuff, and I've started to work through my watches now, and I'm like, okay, I don't want that one. I don't want that one. I do want this one. I do like that coin. I do like that one. So now I've dropped into about 3 or 4 coins currently that I'm keeping an eye on. Health Babe says that was last year when gold was 11.90. Sucker for Silver says, hey, Health Babe, hope your Monday is going well. She says, Sucker for Silver, good idea. I tell you what, I love those. You got to love those. Make me an offer deals on eBay, especially when it comes to bullion. There was a interesting graded coin that came up. It wasn't anything special. It was an MS70. It was a crocodile, Australian crocodile. They're not really worth much, but I mean, still, it was. I think he had it for 30. He had it up for $30. So I jumped in there to see if I could make him a bid. I mean, I thought, well, look, I don't really want it. I'll put a low bid in. I put it in. I think it was at $19.50. $19.50. I put a bid in. Obviously, it got rejected. And then I thought, well, I'll up it to $21.50. Got rejected. And I was like, well, okay, I don't really need it, but I thought I'd give it a go anyway. However, he's still got like 3 of them still for sale. So now he's probably wondering, like, maybe I should have accepted his bid. Maybe not. Precious Metals update says, Health Babe, I bought 2 ounces of gold when spot was 14.10. Apex we're doing a flash sale. Oh, fantastic. Right, let's check out the gold chart. 1466. We're getting tighter and tighter into this ascending triangle here. It's gonna. I wonder how much longer it's going to take before it's going to pop. So we're going to keep an eye on that one. That's Spectacular. Hey, Spectacular, how you doing? Welcome. Hope you're well, my friend. Sorry, things might get a little bit rowdier in the yard here. Just close that window. Actually, sorry, there's more activity in the yard here now, so the people will be talking over the high-pitched talking and all that sort of stuff going on. Okay, so there's the hourly for gold. Not looking too bad. Yeah, Health Babe, I got into gold stocks last year, and they have been doing great. I know, yeah, gold stocks. We were just looking at an article there. I think they were saying there the return on gold stocks was it 35% or something like that. I think junior and senior stocks. Something I don't really get into with stocks. Spectacular says, "Are you in London? Are you in the London Yard?" I'm actually in the Dublin. I'm in Ireland actually, but I'm in a farmyard actually. Health Babe says, "I'm losing faith on silver as it continues to be underperforming during the bull market." Well, again, Health Babe, I mean, we're in an ascending wedge here. I mean, what is not to like about that? I mean, I hear what you're saying, but don't forget, it takes silver, it takes a lot more energy to get the price going up. And don't forget, we've come up like almost $2. So again, it's just give it time. I mean, we're still in an ascending wedge here. It still looks good. Even if you look at the daily chart for silver, it still looks good. Just be patient. Trust me, patience will be rewarded. Yep, I do agree. The resistance level is very strong. I know. We need some good buying momentum just to keep chipping away at that, to constantly keep it moving up, and then hopefully from there we should see some momentum. So we really need to start consolidating a bit, and then get ready for the big one. I saw all the big mining companies try and get acute other companies, and I was like, it's time to buy. Wow, that sounds great. I have family from Ireland, and tell them I said hello. Spectacular. That's great, man. Do you know whereabouts? Do you know which town, which city? It's always great to hear when someone has family or from their ancestors were from either Galway or Dublin or Cork or somewhere like that. Healthbait says Meow is out of patience since gold has been outperforming. Again, though, but silver's been outperforming gold for the last like 2 weeks. It's like we lose a bit of momentum for like maybe like 4 days or something like that, and everyone starts to lose faith. I mean, just give it time. I mean, we've clawed ourselves back up again. Precious Metals Update says I meant acquire companies. Yeah, sorry. I thought that was a different word for that, but I knew what you meant. Precious Metals Update. Acquire. Right. Platinum at 855. Ascending triangle looking very good there. It's just a matter of time before we pop out of that angle. So we could, by tomorrow, we should get some indication about how we're moving up, whether we're going to get a pump all the way through this resistance line. This is ascending resistance here, and then that's our ascending support level. But it's a very nice angle. Silver as well. There's our ascending resistance line, and there's our ascending support line. Still, you know, yeah, I mean, there's no point going on about it, but you guys know how I feel. Healthway says, Precious Metals Update. I've been accumulating them in the past 3 years. I'm counting on some of them being a takeout target. It will be a big premium for the takeout. Healthbabe says, Precious Metals Update. Nice. Hope your stock from companies will be a potential takeout target too. Well, that sounds interesting. We're up to 12. So again, thank you all very much for listening. For those that haven't commented, really appreciate you guys. Thanks very much. Always like going through these charts Monday to Friday with you and discussing some news with you as well. So really appreciate that. Thank you for taking the time in your day to come and chat with those in the chat, and of course chat with myself. Right, let me know in the comments, please. Where in the next, by the end of the week, where do you think silver's going to be? I think let's start near term. Let me know in the near term by Friday. Where do you guys think we're going to be? Pump says Health Babe. I see there's an interesting candle there that's 7 minutes in, and we're getting some pretty good, interesting movement. Let me know what your silver prediction is by the end of the week for Friday. Where do you think the price of silver is going to be? This is where I think the price of silver is going to be. Health Babe says, based on your plot, it should be around 1650. Have a good week, everyone. Thanks, Limey. Cheers, Donald. Thanks very much, buddy. All the best. Well, very tight. Everyone's in that 16 range. Silver Streak says 1690. On your plot, obviously 1650 for Health Babe. I put 1680, so it's there. I think we've got momentum to get ourselves through that resistance level. Andre G says 1640. Very interesting. Okay, so he sees pretty much sideways consolidation. We need more higher high, man. I know, yeah, I totally agree with you. That's why I'm being optimistic. Also, we've got a very big resistance level coming up. That is the higher, that was the previous high from June 16. That is the, I'll show you guys now exactly what I mean. Jeepers, okay, I really made this seriously long. Okay, no, I'm not going to go all the way down, but I'll show you guys now what I mean. This was the June 16 high. Oh, man, this is really slow, guys. Sorry. I'll tell you what, there you go. That's it. We're nearly there. That's it. All the way down. That's our next breakthrough level. Health Babe says, I just don't enjoy seeing the spot lingering at 1640. I know it's been like that pretty much for like a week now. Who knows, Limey? I would be surprised if we saw a tweet or statement that could pull these markets back down a bit. I know, I totally agree with you, man. It's always interesting what news that comes out there that affects precious metals. Aussie Alchemist, how you doing, Aussie? It's good to see you. Right, just a quick recap here, guys. Let's take a look. So we've got gold at, wow, gold is pumping, everybody. 1649. There you go. Look at that candle. $1,469 an ounce. We're gonna, oh, there we go. We got a bit of resistance there. Silver at 1645. A pretty strong candle for the day, I think, considering all things considered. When we look at our platinum, there is almost no resistance for gold. It's a free run at the moment. So yeah, I know what you mean. I know it's difficult going back 6 years to see where resistance was 6 years ago, and I think it's really irrelevant. So it's very much like you said, it's just going to keep going up. Drop down to $1,467 an ounce. Palladium 1419, so it fell back some. Bubble might start to build up per parabolic growth. Yep, I hear you there. Ozzy, how are you keeping, man? Silver streak. Right, so that's a Palladium there, 1421. Let's look at Bitcoin now. Oh, Bitcoin's had a bit of a pullback, everybody. Dropped down to 11,790. Okay, so what we might be getting ourselves ready here, we might be getting ourselves ready for the next push upwards. So a bit of sideways consolidation to build up momentum and then strike. Again, just keep an eye on this for those that keep an eye on those big sells. Litecoin, $98. Okay, so that's still hanging in there. Okay, so whenever we try and move up, there's some selling pressure back down. However, it looks to me, there we go, we're touching that 20-day moving average, which has been pretty consistent support. If we break through, we're going to be headed lower. So we've got the 50-day moving average there at 96. Ethereum, $233. And then XRP, 32.5, 32 cents and half a cent. Right. The gold has already surpassed Palladium as well. I know, yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Palladium's always had that sort of high, no longer. Gold is now in charge. It is a big indicator for gold as a haven for this moment. The Dow plunged 700 points this morning. Wow, that is pretty heavy going. Let's look at the sort of crypto market capitalizations. Let's have a look and see. Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance just constantly going up, guys. It's like in the last run we had just up to 14. I think it was around 60, was it 64, 63%, somewhere around there. $69 billion the last 24-hour volume, 67.8. And that's all we have time for today, everybody. Just want to thank everyone for taking the time out to come and join me here on the live stream. We're going to be keeping an eye on gold. I think gold's a very important one to keep an eye out for. It's definitely one that is, it's definitely, that's clear evidence there that it's making higher highs without much resistance. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on that one. There's our ascending triangle that we see here. Be interesting to see if we're going to be testing this ascending resistance here or just pop on through. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on that one. Ethereum is still lagging. I know, yeah, I think all the alts are lagging currently. Until Bitcoin breaks above that 12K mark, we'll probably then start to see the other altcoins start to sort of move up. But all the money's being put into Bitcoin at the minute. All the money is in Bitcoin. It is always fun to join your conversation. Well, thanks, Health Babe. Really appreciate it. I just want to give some shout outs here. Aussie Alchemist, Precious Metals Updates, Andre G as well. How are you? Thanks for dropping in. Precious Metals Updates, Silver Streak. Spectacular. He dropped in. Sucker for Silver. And DB Stupid says he was driving. Sorry, I missed your comment there, DB. I wonder if you're still listening. Bigfoot Silver Hide and Seeker dropped in as well. That's fantastic. Jody Rhodes. Boss Killer as well. And I believe that's it. S&P. AU Concurrence. All right, bye, Limey and everyone. Yeah, thanks, guys. Hopefully I'll be feeling a little bit better tomorrow. And we can have a little bit, sorry, I had a bit of a late live stream today because I really struggle to get out the house. But hopefully I'll have some more news anyway in regards to where our precious metals are moving to. And glad I caught your stream, even if late. Looks like an interesting day ahead. Cheers, Limey. Yeah, you've still got plenty of time on your hands where you are. Silver Streak, don't forget to smash that like button. Really appreciate it. Thanks for bringing that up, Silver Streak. Cheers, Health Babe. Thanks, everybody. Andre G. Take care, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow's live stream. And I wish you all the best and have a great afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Take care, everyone.